Good morning and welcome to the Kilat Shari Torah Daily Halacha Review and Sefirah to Omer count for Monday, April 19th. Today is the 22nd day of the Omer. Hayom Shnayim ve'esrim Yom Shem Shlosha Shavuot V'Yom Echad LaOmer. We started speaking yesterday about the laws of Yom Tov, Hilchos Yom Tov, because year in and year out we don't take too much time to review those. We thought we'd use the weeks leading up to Shavuos to do that. So we said that in general, the rules of the laws governing Yom Tov are the same as Shabbat, with the exception of Ochel Nefesh, food that we're going to eat on Yom Tov itself. So nevertheless, one should not make cheese or butter on Yom Tov, or curdle milk by putting curdling agents in there, or something that causes it to thicken and coagulate. You also should not skim the cream off from milk unless you leave a little on the milk, the way you do it on Shabbos. Remember, we have a halacha about not separating on Shabbos, selecting. So if this doesn't happen too much anymore, nowadays we buy milk in one package and cream in another. But in the days when the cream used to rise to the top and separate, so you would take a knife and skim some of the cream off there on Shabbos, and on Yom Tov, as it turns out, you should leave some of the cream there. And again, this is permitted as much as you need for the day, but not for the following day, because that amounts to preparing on Yom Tov for the next day, which we're not allowed to do. If you're afraid it'll spoil, you are allowed to have a non-Jew do this for you. Now, if you have spices that if you grind them before Yom Tov, they're going to lose their flavor, they could be ground on Yom Tov. If you do it in an unconventional manner, like turning the mortar on its side, pounding them on the table, or some other change, some other shinui, unconventional procedure in doing it. Horseradish, like you grind the chrein for the Seder, if it's grated on a hand grater, should not be grated into a dish as you usually do on weekdays, rather grate it onto a tablecloth or a napkin or something like that. You should not grind coffee with a grinder, but you can pound it with a mortar in an unusual manner. Best to prepare everything on the day before Yom Tov, right? So then you won't have to worry about all these things. Foods that do not lose their flavor certainly should be crushed, ground, grated, whatever, prepared before Yom Tov. But if you forgot, you're allowed to do it, as we say, with a shinui, with a change, on Yom Tov. All that was permitted is only permitted for as much as you need for that day, we're underscoring, but not for the next day. So you can't prepare 2 days worth of chrein on the first, so let's say it's right before the Seder, now it's Yom Tov, and you're grating the chrein, the horseradish, for the Seder. You're not allowed to make enough for the second day also. You have to wait until the second day of Yom Tov to grate for the second Seder. Everything only for that day. When you're grinding matzah, you should also be careful about this. Matzah, grate from flour, grind something perfect. Matzah is made from ground flour, says the Mishnah Brura, and you're allowed to grind something that was previously ground, even in the usual manner. So they say, nevertheless, be careful about that. So when you're grinding your matzahs to make kneidlach, to make matzah meal, to make kneidlach, so matzah balls, be mindful of that also. Now, in contrast to that, you're not allowed to split wood, you're not allowed to break wood by hand, you're not allowed to gather wood from a place where it's scattered about. That's not in the parsha of Ochel Nefesh, of actual food preparation, even though, of course, in the olden days they needed wood to power the ovens. Nevertheless, we don't do that on Yom Tov. That's far enough so that you could have done it. That's far enough removed from the process of cooking that you could have done it before Yom Tov. Okay, in the cup. Well, you know what? We'll just say these, and then you know what? There's enough. We'll save it for tomorrow. This is also about preparing the fire and so on for cooking. Okay, we'll take this up again tomorrow. Please join us then. In the meantime, have a wonderful day.